Ever feel like you're just kind of like, riding the waves of life, just hoping you don't wipe out?
Yeah.
That's kind of the opposite of what we're talking about today. We're diving into Lynne Durham's resilience manual to figure out how not just stay afloat,
Right.
but to become the kind of surfer who actively chases the big waves.
Exactly.
We're talking about building a resilient mindset. And I gotta say, this manual is packed with really actionable insights
Really?
that you can use literally today.
What I find so fascinating about this approach
Yeah.
is that it really reframes what resilience actually is.
Okay.
It's not just about bouncing back from setbacks, which is important,
Right.
but it's about actively seeking out challenges
Oh, wow.
as opportunities to learn and grow.
So you're almost leaning into the wave instead of
Yes.
powering from it.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Durham calls it an empowered mindset.
Okay.
And honestly, who doesn't want to feel more empowered in their life,
That's
right?
so true.
And she breaks it down into two key concepts: internal locus of control
Okay.
and self-efficacy.
See, now those sound a little,
I know they said a little jargony.
a little textbooky,
Yeah, a little bit.
but stick with us because they're actually pretty straightforward.
They are. They are.
So internal locus of control basically means
Yeah.
believing that you have a say in what happens in your own life, right?
That's
It's
pretty good.
have you ever aced a presentation at work and been like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, the stars just aligned for me?
Right, right.
That's kind of an external locus of control.
It is, yeah.
But what if instead you were like, you know what? I crushed that because I prepared, I practiced,
Yes.
I put in the work.
Exactly.
That's internal locus of control in action.
That's it.
I like it.
And the thing is,
Yeah.
it's not just about these big milestones.
Right.
It's also about the small, everyday stuff.
Okay.
Like, how do you react when you're stuck in traffic?
Uh,
Or how do you approach a tough conversation with a friend?
oh, that's a good one.
It's about recognizing that you have choices and influence in those moments too.
You always have a choice.
You do.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the second concept, self-efficacy.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is all about believing in your ability to actually make those choices and see them through.
So it's like having the confidence to make the choice and then follow through with it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's that inner belief that you can handle whatever comes your way.
It's like that little voice.
It's like,
you got this.
Yes, I've got this.
Yeah.
And the coolest part, this isn't just some feel-good self-help stuff.
Right.
There's actual research to back it up.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like studies from the NIH
Wow.
and the work of psychologists like Albert Bandura
Okay.
have shown a clear link between an empowered mindset, lower stress levels, and overall better well-being.
So it's like science-backed confidence.
Exactly. It's like giving your brain a superpower.
I like that.
Right.
So we know this mindset is valuable,
Yeah.
but how do we actually cultivate it?
Right.
Like, how do we actually make it happen?
Well, one of the tools I found super helpful in Durham's resilience manual
Okay.
is something she calls the 31 days of resilience tips.
31 days. Okay.
31 days.
So it's like a whole month.
Like a little menu of resilience-boosting actions.
Oh, I like that. Like a menu. Okay.
Yeah, you get to pick and choose.
So you don't have to do all 31.
No, not at all.
You find what resonates.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about finding small, sustainable changes
Okay.
that can make a big difference over time.
So you're not trying to
Right.
overhaul your entire life in one day.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's about building those habits slowly and steadily.
That's really interesting.
One tip that really stood out to
Yeah.
me was embrace discomfort.
Embrace discomfort. Okay.
It's so easy to stay in our comfort zones.
Oh, it's so easy.
Right. But this tip is all about actively seeking out challenges.
Even in small ways.
Even in small ways, exactly.
Yeah.
Like instead of scrolling through social media,
Oh, I'm guilty of that.
maybe you try that new recipe you've been eyeing.
Okay.
Or you finally have that difficult conversation you've been putting on.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's about stretching yourself a little bit each day.
So stepping outside of that comfort zone just a little bit at a time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is
Yeah.
when we repeatedly do this,
Mm-hmm.
we're essentially retraining our brains
Oh, interesting.
to become more comfortable with discomfort.
You're building up a tolerance,
Exactly. It's like building a tolerance for the unknown.
which, let's face it, is a big part of life.
It is. It's a huge part of life. And, another tip I really loved was cultivate self-awareness.
Okay, self-awareness, yeah.
Durham suggests taking a few minutes each day to just observe your thoughts and emotions.
Just observe.
Just observe
Okay.
without judgment.
Without judgment. Oh.
Because so often we're just rushing through our days.
Yes, we are.
Right.
Totally.
And we're not really paying attention to what's going on inside.
That's so true.
So by taking those few minutes to just be present with ourselves,
Yeah.
we gain valuable insights into our thought patterns and emotional triggers.
Which then allows us to actually do something about it.
Exactly. It allows us to make more conscious choices.
Oh, I like that.
Right.
It all comes back to those conscious choices.
It does. It really does.
Making decisions from a place of awareness rather than just reacting.
Exactly. Because when we're more aware of ourselves, we can start to make choices that align with the resilient individuals we want to become.
That's powerful.
It is.
So we've got 29 other days worth of tips in this manual.
We do. We could talk about this all day.
Yeah, we could.
But I want to shift gears for a minute.
Okay.
And dive into what Durham calls the resilience roadmap.
Okay, the resilience roadmap.
The resilience roadmap.
Let's do it. So we've got all those resilience tips. It's like we're building up our toolbox, right?
Yes.
But then we need the actual,
the blueprint?
to the blueprint,
Yes.
to build something amazing.
Exactly.
And that's where the resilience roadmap comes in.
Yes. This is where we take action.
Okay, so tell me more about this roadmap.
All right. So picture this.
Okay.
The 5-step guide.
5 steps. Okay.
5 steps to navigate challenges and use them as opportunities to grow.
I like it.
So the steps are challenge, reframe,
Okay.
lessons versus setbacks, keep going,
Okay.
value and effort,
Okay.
and aligned growth.
Aligned growth.
Yeah, it's like leveling up in a video game.
I like that analogy.
Right.
Okay, so let's break it down.
That's good.
Starting with challenge, reframe. What does that even mean?
Okay, so imagine this. You get hit with a project deadline
Ugh, the worst.
that you weren't expecting.
Yep, been there.
And your immediate reaction is probably stress, maybe even panic.
Oh, absolutely.
But challenge reframing asks you to just pause for a second
Okay.
and choose a different perspective.
So instead of freaking out.
Yes. Instead of seeing it as this insurmountable roadblock,
Right.
what if you saw it as a chance to prove yourself?
Oh, okay, so turn it into an opportunity.
Exactly. See the opportunity within the obstacle.
I like that.
It's not about pretending the challenge isn't there.
Right.
It's about choosing how you want to approach it.
So it's like you're acknowledging it's hard.
Yes.
But you're also saying, okay, but what can I learn from this?
Exactly. What can you learn? How can you grow from this?
It's like they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right. And that leads perfectly into the next step,
Okay.
which is lessons versus setbacks.
Lessons versus setbacks.
Okay, this is where we get real with ourselves.
Time for some honesty.
Yes. What went wrong?
Yeah.
But in a constructive way.
So not just like beating ourselves up about it.
No, none of that.
Okay, good.
It's about asking what worked, what didn't, and most importantly, what can I do differently next time?
So it's like a learning opportunity.
Exactly. It's about shifting from a fixed mindset of I messed up to a growth mindset of I'm learning and evolving.
I like that.
Right.
Okay, so we've reframed the challenge.
Yes.
We've learned some lessons. But what about when we, inevitably hit another roadblock?
That's where keep going comes in. This step is all about persistence.
Okay, persistence.
Self-compassion.
Important.
So important.
Yeah.
And having a plan for when things get tough.
Because they will get tough.
They will. They absolutely will.
Oh, yeah.
Durham reminds us that setbacks are not failures.
Okay, good.
They're just part of the process.
They're like little speed bumps.
Exactly. And, she encourages us to create a growth plan.
A growth plan. Okay, tell me more about that.
So it's not just about powering through with gritted teeth.
Oh, okay.
It's about having strategies in place to support ourselves.
Like what kind of strategies?
Well, it could be breaking down a large goal into smaller steps.
Okay, manageable steps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or knowing when to reach out to your support system.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right. Or even just taking a break when you need to recharge.
Self-care is important.
It is. It's about being kind to yourself throughout the entire process.
That's so important.
It really is.
Because it's easy to be hard on yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when we're pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zones.
Right, exactly.
Which is why self-care is so essential.
Okay, so we're talking about reframing challenges, learning from setbacks.
Yes.
Persistence, self-compassion.
Mm-hmm.
This brings us to step 4, value and effort. I'm really curious about this one.
Yes. This step is all about shifting our focus from outcomes, which we can't always control, to effort, which we have direct control over.
Okay, so focusing on what we can control.
Exactly. Because true growth comes from the effort we put in.
Not necessarily the results.
Not just the results, because sometimes the results don't reflect the effort.
That's true.
And it can be discouraging.
Yeah, it can be really disheartening.
Right. So instead, let's focus on showing up fully,
Okay.
giving it our best,
Yeah.
and finding satisfaction in that journey.
So it's like enjoying the process, not just chasing the end result.
Yes. Celebrating every step we take, every effort we make.
Because it's all contributing to our growth, right?
Exactly. Even if we don't see those immediate tangible results,
right.
It's about progress, not perfection.
I like that. Progress, not perfection.
Yes.
It's so easy to get caught up in that end goal, you know?
Absolutely.
Like we're so focused on the destination.
Yes.
We forget to enjoy the journey.
It's so true. And you know what?
Yeah.
That can really steal our joy,
Absolutely.
if we're not careful.
Yeah.
Which is why I really appreciate that Durham includes aligned growth as that final step.
Okay.
In her resilience roadmap,
Okay, yeah. So tell me more about this aligned growth.
So it's like, okay, we've learned all these tools about reframing challenges, embracing the effort, cultivating self-compassion.
Right.
Now, how do we use all of that to create a life that we actually love?
Okay, that makes sense.
That's aligned with our values and aspirations.
So it's about getting really clear on what matters.
Exactly.
And then using those resilience tools to build that life.
Exactly. It's about asking yourself, what do I want to cultivate more of in my life?
I like that.
Right. More joy, more connection, more purpose.
Yeah.
Whatever it is for you.
Okay.
And then using this roadmap to help you get there.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
And you know what really brings this whole concept to life?
What's that?
Durham includes this really great case study in the manual.
Okay.
About one of her clients. Her name is Jude.
Okay, Jude.
Yes.
Okay.
And she was stuck in a relationship that just wasn't serving her anymore.
Oh, I've been there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like that feeling of being trapped.
Totally.
By your circumstances.
And like you don't know.
You don't know what to do.
How to get out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so she felt powerless.
Yeah, it's the worst.
It is. It's a really tough spot to be in.
So how did she use these tools, these resilience tools?
So Durham encouraged her to start by reflecting on her core values.
Okay. So figuring out what really mattered.
Yes. Like what truly mattered most to her in her life.
Okay.
And with that clarity, Jude was able to see that the relationship was no longer aligned with the person she wanted to be.
Wow. That's so powerful.
Right. Like when you have that clarity,
Yeah.
it can be a real game changer.
It's like you take off the blinders.
Yes.
And you finally see it.
And you can see clearly.
Yeah.
And for Jude, it gave her the strength to make a really difficult decision.
To leave the relationship.
Yes. To choose herself and her own well-being.
That's amazing.
Even though it was hard.
It's never easy to walk away from something.
It takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
But, she did it.
Good for her.
It's a beautiful example of how resilience isn't just about getting what you want.
Okay.
It's about having the strength to walk away from what's no longer serving you.
That's such an important reminder.
It is.
Because we can get so stuck in our comfort zones, even if they're not actually comfortable.
Right, even if it's painful.
It's familiar.
Familiar, exactly. So Jude's story is a great reminder that we all have the capacity for incredible resilience, even when we're faced with these really difficult emotions and tough choices.
It's inspiring, for sure.
It is. It's very inspiring.
Well, as we wrap up our deep dive on resilience today, I'm curious, what's one small step you feel inspired to take based on what we've talked about?
What's calling to you?
Yeah.
Maybe it's practicing a little more gratitude.
Okay.
Maybe it's setting a healthy boundary. Or just noticing your self-talk a little more.
Yeah.
And choosing a more empowering narrative.
So it's about taking that first step, even if it's small.
Yes. That's all it takes.
And remembering this is a journey.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Love that. And being kind to ourselves along the way.
Absolutely. Celebrate the progress.
Yeah.
Never stop learning. Never stop growing.
Love that.
Here's to embracing the ways and becoming the best versions of ourselves, right?
Cheers to that.